Blood, 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 and Death by Suna Kurai. When the clock struck 12, and still the bloodied fox refused to receive medical treatment, the doctors finally decided to sedate him against his will, or else he'd end up just like his bunny companion. Nick woke up in a daze. He winced at the pain the stitches sent through his spine, a testimony to him still being alive. Apparently, still. He looked on blankly, dark circles underneath those green orbs that used to ooze with a charming, sarcastic flair. His bones felt like glass, skin like paper. Most of all, his insides were on fire. Outside, the sky was as pristine as the waters from the falls in the rainforest district. Electric lines and the city's towering infrastructures stood tall, and sun rays bounced on and off their surfaces. It was a stark contrast to the monstrosity that was the night before, starless, thunderous, and chilly. He sat upright, despite his chest silently screaming in agony upon every action. Eventually, his thighs beneath the covers were met with drops of a clear liquid, steadily soaking the sheets. Why was he crying? Why? Why did he have to be so ignorant? He cupped his face in his paws and started clawing at his head. Muffled screaming resonated around the room, eventually replaced by a strangled cry, wailing with a certain kind of desperation, disbelief, a refusal to accept the truth. He knew damn well better than anyone that he shouldn't have let her go off on her own. He knew that all it took was one mistake for someone like her, and then everything she had ever worked for, everything she ever hopes to achieve, everything. A knock on the door was heard, but he refused to answer, lost in his spinning thoughts and mindless bawling. Instead, the chief just decided to let himself in, and boy, was Wild a mess. Bogo knew that there was no point beating around the bush, since judging from the state Nick was in, he was already fully aware.
It's a shame what happened to Hops.
Mourning just a little less than the disgruntled fox, Bogo expressed his sentiments with his ever-stoic expression, but gentler eyes.
But I'm pretty sure she wouldn't be happy to see you bowling like this.
The wailing didn't end, however. It just got louder, more frantic. His breaths hitched every few seconds, and he just started clawing harder. The moment he notices that the fox was starting to bleed with self-inflicted injuries, he frantically pried his paws away from his face.
Sweet cheese and crackers, Wild, stop this nonsense. This is beneath you.
He chastises. The fox only growled in response, shoving his superior away, then crying out in pain as he strained the stitches meant to close the gunshot wounds he got from yesterday's skirmish. He took a deep breath, then finally relaxed.
I'm not writing a report for this.
Bogo sighed. He certainly wouldn't tell him that since only he and Hops were assigned to the case, nobody else would be qualified to write about the case. Still, he wasn't as heartless as he appeared, deciding to give the fox leeway and writing the report himself, and maybe even a eulogy to the bunny officer in the process. There was a long, awkward silence before the fox decided to say anything else.
Our parents,
he began weakly.
Do they know?
Not yet.
He nodded slowly, as if absorbing this new piece of information with a sloth's time of reaction, eyes still glassy. After a long while, he spoke again.
Let me be the one to tell them.
Okay.
The chief wonders just how close those two really were, judging from Wild's reaction to the situation. Hops must have known about the risks. She was prepared to give her life for the ZPD's cause, but the partner she brought in was only prepared to give his life for hers. Now that she stripped him of that purpose, all that was left was a hollow shell. Another scar to add to the already scarred predator's back. Eventually, Bogo had no choice but to leave him alone. He was a busy buffalo after all, and as much as he did not want to give Wild the slightest bit of a chance to do anything rash, he had a job maintaining peace in the city, too. Besides, Nick wasn't planning to do anything stupid either. At least, not until he told Judy's parents that she died. After that, maybe he'd actually consider it.